It has been announced via Dana White that Khamzat Chimaev has got an opponent. December the 19th is the day, and it's none other than our very own Leon Edwards. Do we get 10% for this, lads? Because let's be straight, we've been saying this all week on our open match show, haven't we? And the fight's been made.
Well, I mean, it's good that he's back in action. Unfortunately for him, he waited too long and he dropped out the rankings. So now it's not a Wonder Boy or someone like that. It's the new guy in the sport that nobody else wants to fight. And I mean, you know, there are upsides and downsides to it. You know, the upside is that there's a lot of hype around Khamzat Chimaev right now if Leon can get the victory. Although it doesn't maybe do much for his rankings, it does a lot for his respect in the sport, amongst other fighters in particular. The downside is he's still an unknown commodity. We don't know what Khamzat Chimaev is capable of. I mean, what we've seen is, you know, dominance in 3 fights, very, very little coming back in return from his opponents. And, you know, not really much as far as his skill set. We know he can wrestle, we know he can control people on the floor and just put a horrendous beating on them, you know, for as long as it lasts. But then at middleweight, we saw him starch Mershaw as well with 1 punch. We just don't know what this man's capable of. But Leon's the man to test it, and I'm excited for it.
No, extremely excited. Like I said, December 19th is when it all goes down. And I just hope, from Leon's point of view, that this experience over the last couple of months, there's a bit of a learning there. And whatever happens, in his case, hopefully he gets that victory. And if he does, get on that microphone and make some noise. Learn from the past 6 months that he's in the Leon Edwards business and not just the UFC business.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, you know, the Chimaev thing, nobody wants to fight Chimaev right now because he is so red hot. But if you're someone in the top of the division with aspirations of becoming a UFC champion, Chimaev should be easy fodder. Chimaev, for where he is in terms of his ranking and who he's beaten so far, this guy is an unknown quantity. There's many more questions unanswered about him than anything else. So I think it's a good move by Leon because nobody else wants it. And I feel, okay, he fights Wonderboy. He beats Wonderboy, still in the same position. Wonderboy's yet another top 10 guy that Rocky Edwards has beaten, and he still hasn't got a title shot. Chimaev's different. Chimaev's the most avoided man in this weight division. You beat him. It won't even just be Rocky that's calling for a title fight. We will be. The fans will be. Come on, he's just beat the guy that was supposed to be red hot, that was terrorising everybody.
In multiple weight divisions.
Exactly, he's humbled him, he's quieted him now. Come on, let's get Rocky in there for a title fight. I think it's a brilliant move from Leon. We got there in the end, we had to drag him over the line a little bit, but we've got there, and he's got the real opportunity now in a main event to make a big, big statement heading into 2021. And as far as that's concerned, once he gets this win, if he beats Chimaev, stay in shape, stay on weight, be ready, and the opportunity will come.
I'm going to talk about the ramifications of this for Leon in a minute, right? But from Khamzat's point of view, in the welterweight division, I mean, he's been obviously operating at middleweight as well. I mean, this guy is, I think a lot of fans have fallen in love with him because of his attitude, the Wolf of Wall Street type attitude here on Fight Island. I'm not going home. Get me another fight in 10 days. What does this mean for him? If he beats Leon Edwards, as highly ranked as he is he next in line?
Well, it certainly puts the conversation out there. You know, Leon's done the majority of the work for him, and due to inactivity, he's out the rankings, not due to defeats. Like, we know what Leon's capable of. We know that he's top 5 in the world. We know he's deserving of a shot at the belt, and it's been long overdue. You know, the Masvidal fight should have been there for him. He had the Woodley fight matched up in London before that show was cancelled.
Yeah.
You know, the opportunities were there for him, and they've just passed him by, unfortunately. If Khamzat Chimaev beats him, even though Leon's been taken out of the rankings, that status as top 5 is still there in a lot of people's minds. And, you know, you can't go, I mean, unfortunately for Neil Magny, he was looking like he was going to get the Khamzat Chimaev fight. This puts Chimaev right above him.
Yeah.
If Khamzat is able to beat Leon, it's like, oh, well, stick him right in the top 5. Because you can't then give him somebody in the top 15. You know, he needs to be progressed, especially because no one wants to fight him now.
Yeah.
If he's able to beat Leon, who's a proven fighter in this weight class, I mean, who else is going to want him? The Damian Maia fight never came about, which didn't surprise me after he starched Mershaw. You know, there's obviously Darren Till said he'll fight him. That's in a different weight class. Like, we could see him a contender in 2 weight classes, and, you know, picking and choosing which belt he wants to go for first, which is really quite a terrifying prospect.
What does this do for Rocky? Because there's some serious contenders here that do rock the mic a little bit better than Leon, and I'm sure the fans, not just in the UK, but most certainly over in America, were looking at the likes of a Jorge Masvidal or a Colby Covington, and there's rumours that those two are going to get matched up. People would look at that fight and think, well, that's the number 1 contender fight. That's the one I want to see more so against Kamaru Usman. But both of those guys have been in with Usman and lost recently. So what does this do for Leon Edwards, a fight like this against Chimaev?
If he goes in there and makes a statement and gets a big win, especially if he was to get a stoppage, but even against Chimaev, just getting a win over him, as long as it's a strong points decision, that's not contentious, anything else, then it absolutely puts Rocky right back to where he once was. And again, there's a real rhetoric there to see something that we've not seen for a long time. You know, the loss on his record was against Usman. That was a long time ago. He's evolved so much as a fighter. We've seen Colby and we've seen Masvidal in with Usman recently. We don't need to see that anytime soon. Let them play their rivalry out. And you know what? Let the winner fight Nate Diaz. I like that kind of, that trash talking avenue down there. If Rocky can do the business against Chimaev, I think Rocky then has got to get the next shot at Usman. Usman himself has said previously, Rocky Edwards deserves his shot. I think Chimaev brings the spotlight, he brings the headlines. And you know what? If Leon doesn't feel comfortable rocking the mic, smoke Chimaev and drop the mic.
The thing is, though, Chimaev's proof that you don't have to rock the mic.
Exactly.
I mean, I interviewed him a few days ago, and he's literally, I will smash,
Yeah.
10 locations,
Smash.
I'll smash.
But what I'm saying is that Chimaev does get on social media, and he's calling out Till. He's calling out all these guys.
But absolutely, but that's because they don't want to fight him. He's already established himself in 2 fights on Fight Island the previous time around, hanging around, takes on 2 guys that that were coming in at short notice, and just decimated them.
Yeah. Rocky can't just message every day, I want Usman, I want Usman, I want Usman. He doesn't want anybody else. He wants the title shot. He's been forced into a position by being removed from the rankings to maybe take a fight that he feels is beneath him at this stage, but he needs to realise that Chimaev's heat is incredibly valuable. The amount of fans globally behind this guy getting excited. Listen, we're on the train. Choo-choo, we're on the Chimaev train. But now Rocky's in the picture. Of course we want Leon to do the business.
It's a shame that Kamaru Usman pulled out of that main event with Gilbert Burns, which would have happened actually the week before this fight that we're talking about right now is scheduled, because the narratives would have played out really nicely for January, February, wouldn't they?
It would have absolutely. It would have set the stage perfectly for this one. And obviously, with Leon being removed from the rankings, it kind of forced his hand into a position where he's got to open the door to a guy that's not got a number next to his name. But now Chimaev's got an opportunity to leapfrog a whole bunch of welterweights and put him in a position where he could potentially steal Leon's thunder and a number as well.
One thing that is concluded, on December the 19th, we've got ourselves a hell of a fight, main event, where Leon Edwards will be taking on Khamzat Chimaev in the welterweight division. 20%, it's gone up because we're that stoked at being able to make this fight for you, Leon.